So hey, what's up guys, this is AK, and you are watching my YouTube channel AKM. So guys, welcome back to a brand new tips and tricks video of PUBG Mobile. Dodging enemy bullets is one of the most valuable skills you can learn in PUBG Mobile, because the players who survive the longest are not always the ones with the best aim. They are the players who make themselves incredibly difficult to hit. The biggest mistake most players make is thinking movement only matters when they are rotating across the map. As soon as a fight starts, they forget everything, panic, and become completely predictable. They either run in a straight line, keep exposing themselves from the same position, or stand still while trying to finish their spray. That is exactly why they lose fights, even with good aim, good sensitivity, and smooth controls. Their enemy is not winning because they shoot better. They are winning because they have an easier target. The good news is that this is one of the easiest mistakes to fix. By changing just 3 habits, you will instantly become harder to hit, survive longer in every fight, and create more opportunities to win. The first tip alone can save you in situations where most players get knocked within seconds, so let us start with that. The first tip is to stop giving your enemy an easy tracking pattern. Most players think they are dodging bullets simply because they are moving. But movement alone does not make you difficult to hit. Predictable movement is almost as bad as standing still. The moment bullets start flying, many players hold the sprint button and run directly toward cover. They never change their path. They never think about what the enemy is seeing. From the shooter's perspective, that player is incredibly easy to track. Instead, think about breaking your enemy's rhythm. While moving toward cover, make small direction changes at random moments. Move slightly left, then forward, then slightly right. Keep your movement controlled instead of panicking. Your goal is not to run around wildly. Your goal is to force your enemy to keep correcting their aim every second. Imagine you are crossing open ground between 2 compounds. A player on a rooftop starts spraying at you with an M416. If you continue running in one straight line, they only have to control recoil. But if you keep changing your movement naturally while still pushing toward cover, their spray becomes much harder to keep on target. Even a skilled player will miss more bullets. That extra damage you avoid often decides the entire fight. Instead of reaching cover with almost no health, you arrive ready to heal, reposition, and fight back. One small habit completely changes the outcome. Now there is another mistake that gives your enemy free damage, and most players never even notice they are doing it. The second tip is to stop showing your enemy the same angle every single time. When players find cover, they usually feel safe. Because of that, they keep peeking from exactly the same position again and again. It feels comfortable, and it feels fast. The problem is that your enemy learns your pattern after the first peek. They no longer have to react. They simply hold their crosshair exactly where your head will appear. Instead, make every peek slightly different. Delay one peek by a second. Change to the opposite side of your cover. Sometimes crouch before exposing yourself if the situation allows it. Small changes force your opponent to adjust instead of letting them prepare the perfect shot. Picture a fight around a warehouse. You peek from the left side of a crate and immediately take heavy damage. If you repeat that same peek again, your enemy is already waiting. But if you quickly rotate to another side of the crate before exposing yourself, your opponent suddenly has to find you again. Those extra moments often give you the first accurate shot. The best players do not always have faster reactions. They simply refuse to become predictable. That is why they survive so many fights. Now let us talk about the habit that separates calm players from players who panic under pressure. The third tip is to keep changing your position during the fight, instead of committing to one spot. As soon as many players land a few bullets, they stop thinking about movement completely. Their only goal becomes finishing the enemy. They keep shooting from exactly the same position until the fight ends. That works against inexperienced players, but better opponents immediately recognize your position. Once they know exactly where you are, every peek becomes more dangerous than the last. After every short exchange, ask yourself one simple question. Does my enemy know exactly where I am? If the answer is yes, change something before fighting again. Shift to another side of your cover. Move to a nearby object. Create a new angle before taking your next shot. Imagine you are fighting behind a rock during the final circle. You damage your opponent, then instantly move to the opposite side of the rock. Your enemy pre-aims your old position, but you appear somewhere completely different. Suddenly they are the one reacting instead of attacking. This habit forces your opponent to keep making decisions under pressure, while you stay one step ahead throughout the fight. So before we end this video, let us quickly go over the 3 biggest lessons. First, stop giving your enemy an easy tracking pattern. Controlled direction changes make every spray harder to land. Second, never repeat the same peek over and over again. Different angles and different timing make you far less predictable. Third, keep changing your position during every fight. If your enemy always knows where you are, they already have an advantage. Master these 3 habits, and you will notice something interesting. You will start surviving fights that used to feel impossible. You will take less damage, stay alive longer, and create more chances to outplay stronger opponents. Winning more gunfights is not always about improving your aim. Sometimes it is simply about becoming the hardest player on the battlefield to hit. So guys, that was all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more PUBG Mobile tips, aiming guides, movement tutorials, and practical gameplay advice that will help you improve faster. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.